Well, this is where my little adventure begins. This is the parking ground at the Poulter River. That's the gate I've got to walk through, and that's the valley I've got to walk up. A nice spot. You can see that there's 3 dock vehicles with trailers. That means they're up at Casey Huts, probably doing surveys on parakeets. So I've just got to go over to my truck, which I've parked here. I think I've locked it. And pick up my burden of the day, which is the pack. And we'll see how we go. It's nice and cool. It's taken me about 2.5 to 3 hours to get from my home via Office Pass Visitor Centre. And it's nice and cool for walking. I'll get cracking. Oh, here I am, about an hour out in the walk. I'm looking down about, I don't know, 200, 300 metres to the River Poulter, because I've climbed quite a bit. It's the first rise. I seem to have survived it all right with a heavy pack. And that's looking back down the Poulter to where I started the walk, way down, just level with that line of trees basically. I've come up a track, and there's my heavy pack. And so that's about an hour, maybe a bit less. And then the road drops back down again. The only reason to come up was to dodge the steep sides of the gorge here. The road goes back down, and you can probably see it down there. And I'll wander up that rest of that Poulter River. Basically, as far as you can see the shingle, and way beyond is Casey Hut. So I'll probably have another stop up there somewhere. It's beautiful just now. Overcast, so I haven't had to sweat too much. It's working out very nicely. Well, I'm about 2 3/4 hours from my vehicle, and I've stopped here at Brown Creek. That's Brown Creek going up there, and that's where I come from generally, that direction. Here's the main Poulter River with Brown Creek running into it. And here I am at the edge of the National Park, where it says no vehicles, motorcycles or horses beyond this point. And I'm going to have a wee break here, so I've unpacked some food and got some water from the creek. And I think I'm probably about 20 minutes here. That's the gate that stops people driving beyond here. You could basically come here in a 4-wheel drive if you were skilled, or on a trail bike like I've got, but I don't have the skill. Some of the slips are quite steep. Anyway, this is going to be my resting spot for 20 minutes. There's a typical dock marker, and I'm in this lovely meadow about half an hour from Casey Hut, with a hill over here. I think it's called, what's that? Brown Hill, I think. Climbed that a couple of years ago from Hallelujah Flat. And that's back the way I came, looking back down the Poulter Valley. And ahead, in this nice meadow, we've got a little patch of bush before the terrain drops into the Casey stream, which runs to the right down into the Poulter Valley. There's a rather delightful surprise in this little patch of bush that I'll refer to in a minute. Before I get into the bush, that peak beyond the bush is Castle Hill. I climbed that a few years ago. And just peeking over the top there of the bush is Mount Morrison. I climbed that last year. And over here is Forest Peak, or Forest Hill, I'm not sure what it's called. I had 2 attempts at that, but I did that about 3 years ago. Right, let's walk into this patch of bush. This is a track I'm coming along. That's where I've been. And this is where I'm going. And it is just beautiful. These beech trees. Just gorgeous beech trees. All around. In quite open territory. You could walk anywhere. It's just like being in a park. It's just a gorgeous area. It's on a little spur that the four-wheel drives miss out, and you can walk directly over it to the hut. But it's just a magical spot here. Big old trees. Happy as Larry. In their own environment. I suppose if you're not into trees, if you've seen one, you've seen a lot, but it is absolutely beautiful. This is the view out of Casey hut window, and this is the hut. You can see it's pretty much in use. I presume it's dock workers under gear commandeering most of the shelf space and, well, a lot of that. Those cupboards are usually screwed shut, so they obviously contain goodies. And that's a view up the track that takes you to the Andrews saddle. Doesn't sound quite right. Anyway, it takes you into the Andrews Valley. Pass over Hallelujah Flat, that's where it is. Anyway, enough of the hut. I'm going to have a little siesta here, maybe an hour or two, and then wander on up the valley. There's my trusty bag. Did I tell you it was heavy? Well, it is. Well, this is Casey Stream, and this is looking back at Casey Hut, which I've just had a bit of a break in, and had a chat to somebody, one of the dock workers there, nice young woman. And I've got to cross this creek and through the bush there and go to the right of that hill. And the next hut is called the Trust Polter Hut. I think it's about an hour away, and the weather's warming up a bit, but there's still a nice cool breeze, so I should enjoy that. And that's Casey Stream with Casey Saddle up here, which is another way out from this hut. Anyway, let's get into this creek. Well, I've just emerged from the bush. The other side of that line of bush is the hut. I don't know, a quarter of an hour away. And this is what I'm walking alongside the Polter River now, and that's Forest Peak, which I've climbed. And further up, that nice peak there, right in the middle of the screen, is Mount Hunt. Went up that with Emily, the girl from the US. Although I think the summit's beyond that peak, it's a bit deceptive. And then the peak right in the middle at the moment, right in the middle, is Mount Morrison, which I did last year, but creeping up the back way. And so I'm going to make my way up the side of the Polter River for the next, I don't know, probably a best part of an hour will take me to the Trust Polter Hut. This is Trust Polter Hut. It's It's 6.5 hours of walking to get here. I did have an hour at the last hut for a rest and about half an hour rest on the way up to that. So I'm just going to keep on going. That's the way we came along this track. I'll just bypass this hut. I think I've got another half an hour, 3/4 of an hour to go. Go up there, turn left, then I'll see the next hut. Well, I've turned the corner. That's that creek over there is Thompson Creek, and you can see the full length of Mount Hunt. Right, it's not the pointy bit that's the highest. It's one just beyond. It looks less pointy, and the pole turns left here, and it goes up, and you can actually see my destination. That hut with its roof gleaming way up there. It's about 20 minutes away, I think. So hopefully I can keep cool enough. It's warmed up this afternoon now, but there is a bit of a breeze. Now this is the new Poulter hut. It's taken me a lot of sweaty hours to get here, and I found that there's nobody in, which is a bit of a bonus, getting the hut to yourself. Very tidy wee hut, its own water tank, and nice grating, it's got boots on, and it's very well appointed, very well indeed. There's my hut hanging up. The door's got a spring on it, so it shuts very quickly and keeps the flies out. It's got a wee stove, 2 benches for sleeping on. And every window that opens has got a fly screen on it. It's just wonderful. Which means that you can keep the place cool. Fly screen, fly screen. Kitchen bench with my stuff on it. Nice wee table. The whole place is very tidy. So I'm just going to settle down, have a cup of tea, and maybe have part 1 of my property. It's just about 6ish, and have a later one about 9ish before the light disappears. Right, this is me halfway up a bushy slope, looking out over the Poulter River at the mountains on the other side. I'm coming up this reasonably steep bush, and I'm leaving markers. Here's my marker. And I'll leave markers close enough to find the next one, which is down there, see it in the middle of the screen. So that's the deal. Just plug away at that and see how I go. To my left, over to the left of that marker, is a creek which you might hear, and that's really my basic guide. I'm just keeping to this side of that creek. There's a couple of waterfalls below, so I've got to go away from the creek at points. But even if I lost my pink markers, I think I could stagger down following the creek and going right at any steep bits. But timing, I've no idea how my timing's going to be. 3 hours out and I'm not out of the bush. My plan may be to come back tomorrow once I've marked this up to the beyond the bush line. But we'll see. Well, here I am, 3 hours up from the Poulter River, and a little lead of rocks has brought me up against these bluffs here, which taper off in this direction, so it looks as though I've got out of the bush. Not absolutely sure. Anyway, I've had a drink of water from the stuff running off that rock, and that's the way I came up. Don't know if you can see my last marker. There we go. And I may not need markers from now on, with a bit of luck. So I'll stagger on and see how I'm going. That's the Poulter River down there where I started, coming up the slope. I think that's Mount Green, I'm not absolutely sure. And the hut is, well, New Poulter Hut is where I started this morning, is out to the left beyond the last bit of Poulter River you can see there. Well, that's the direction I've come up from. That's the Poulter Valley down over that bluff. And across here is Wolseley Saddle, Mount McCrae, the second bump there in the middle. I'm not sure what up the back is, might be Coetti up there. However, ahead of me and up is this craggy looking thing, which isn't Mount Scarface. Mount Scarface is round the back of that, so I've got to go round the right and then get a bit more height. And so it's after 1 o'clock, so the jury's still out on whether I'm going to get to Scarface. I'll give it another couple of hours and turn back if I haven't done it. We'll just have to wait and see. Well, here we are on the tops, but not the top of Scarface. These bluffs go up to a peak that is just short of Scarface. If we move along the ridge, see a little snow patch in the middle of the picture? Well, the peak beyond that is Scarface. And so I've come, unfortunately, a bit high, because the route is obviously across the next gully, up onto those shelves, and then wander up onto easy ground to get to Scarface. But that's about 2 hours away, and I've run out of steam and a bit of cramp. So I think I'm going to call it a day, rather than bash on and find I'm not going to get there. It's nearly 2 o'clock, so I'll see how I feel when I'm back in the hut. I might just have a rest day and then come and have a go at this on Wednesday. This is Monday. You see, well up there, that there's the Poulter River, and it turns right, and just where it turns right is the Trust Poulter Hut down at river level, and Casey Hut's another hour or so down beyond, round that bend. And then if we come up the Poulter, see the Poulter disappears behind the rocks here, and I think that's Trudge Stream that goes up to Trudge Call. And over here we have, I'm looking down on Wolseley Pass, and if we go around the corner a wee bit up from Wolseley Pass is Mount McCrae. The second bump is McCrae, so it's quite far away as well. I'm not sure that it's doable from the Wolseley Biv. There's Wolseley Pass, and the Wolseley Biv is actually just visible down there over that little rock escarpment. You'll see a wee hut. Can you see it? Oops, shaking a bit of it. Okay, that's the geography trip, and that's my boots. The boots are not necessarily going to go any higher today. I shared last night with 3 trampers who are now setting up. Are they winning? That's a good sandfly dance.
No, thank you.
One of the best.
Just for you. Oh.
At least they're pestering you.
Oh. It smells. The little Right, I'm doing a running start, I think, here. Oh,
See ya.
see ya. Yeah. God.
Okay, this is my second try at Mount Scarface. I had a rest day yesterday, which was quite nice, rather indulgent. And the weather's just perfect today. And I've rocketed up through the bush to the bush edge because I left markers the last time. So I'm having a bit of a rest here. See the bush petering out right there. And I'm under this bluff that's dripping water, and I'm ingeniously, I say to myself, collecting water from the drips. Probably take about 20 minutes to fill up, but that's fine. I'll have a 20-minute break. It's a nice spot. I can sit in the shade and imagine what the tops are going to be like. I don't think there's much water up there, that's why I'm collecting water here. But it's an absolutely perfect day, and it's only 9:15. So I've got all day ahead of me. Should be good. Well, that's the Bolter River Bend, and over there is Mount Morrison, which is the last peak I've climbed over there. And then down below Mount Morrison is the beautiful Lake Minchin. Very happy hunting ground for fishermen. I'm moving up the slopes. Up, 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 up. That's Mount Scarface. You can see I'm reasonably near Mount Scarface. It's only past 10. I got there about 2 o'clock with heaps of cramp and turned back from there. So I've actually chosen a better route today and got here quite fresh. The weather's perfect, the cool breeze when I want it. It's the general direction I came in from over there. I've been walking round the hill and up at the same time. So let's see what happens now. Well, here I am on top of Mount Scarface, and I'm just going to give a complete panorama. That's the continuing ridge on Scarface here. Over there, centre is Morrison. And down here is lovely Lake Minchin, Lake Minchin. And the Minchin Creek goes out there and eventually passes the New Bolter Hut. And then down this way, over there is Green Hill, and over that away is the ridge I've scrambled along. Thought I was never going to get here. I kept coming onto a top thing, and this is it. And then lo and behold, the last thing Mount Scarface was quite a way away. Anyway, got here. And over here, down there, that flat patch is Wolseley Col, and over here is Mount McRae, which I've still got to do. Okay, Mount McRae has a ridge all the way to Coetti, which I think is where the mist is pouring over. I'm not sure, I'll have to check in the map. And then I come back round to the continuation ridge of Mount Scarface. And just for the hell of it, here I am, quite happy. The time is 12:40 and I've got heaps of time to get back. So I'll just stagger down. I left my pack down below to give me less to carry. So I'm going to head back along that ridge, have a wee lunch where my pack is. Over and out. Well, that's me looking back at Scarface, having been up there. I must admit, when I got to this point, I hadn't expected another bump. And if you see, there's a bit of a green run up from the left into the bluffs, and basically that's the kind of line I took, following the rocks and grass to get up to the top there. It was quite easy. Right, I'm going to go back to my pack and have a bit of lunch, do a bit of pedicure as well. I'm nearly back at my pack. It's under that rock in the middle of the picture. And down there is the junction of the Minchin stream and the Poulter. So the hut, the new Poulter hut should be down there. I'll maybe try zooming in, it might be visible in zoom. There's the Minchin Creek joining, so the hut must be around about the middle of the picture, but I can't see it. To the right of that snow patch is the false Mount Scarface, and I've come down a different way from the way I went up. I came down this way along that edge and threaded down through these little bluffs onto this grass. Now that was preferable to the way I went up because it involved crossing that crappy shelf thing, which was alright, but it was a bit loose and I had to be careful. And then crossing this awful scree, which is just scree, but gosh, it gets into your boots and it's a bit hot once the sun comes out. And I went up that way off that grassy spur. Now this time I'm going to have to drop down a little bit, down to there, and then start up that spur again, so I've got a wee bit of height to gain, but it's not in scree and it's going to be a bit more comfortable. Well, you may see that the weather's getting a bit more overcast, the sun's getting held behind a haze, and I've managed to get back here to the edge of the bush, and I'm looking at one of my markers there, another marker over there, just beyond that. So it took me 3 hours to get down here from this bit. That's pretty good actually. No hints of crap straight out, so I think Monday must have sort of got me back to a little bit of fitness, and I'll have to try and keep that going. So now I'm going to have a bit of lunch right here. I'll just finish the rest of my food and then wander down, pick up all my markers down through the bush, and probably have tea down at the bivouac, and after tea wander to the new Poulter hut, which means tomorrow we'll have less of a walk out. And nowadays it's always something. This is the view from the Wolseley bivouac, or bivvy. And I crossed the river this morning and went up through that bush, up through the bush, and to that well, to the top there. The very top is the falls summit of Mount Scarface, and it's the one that I went up on to just below on Monday. But today I went away around to the right, skirted around all of that ridge. And you see it's quite a lot of bush before you get to the tops. And this is the clearing that the hut's in. And this is the hut. And I'm going to run out of battery power soon, so I'll just let you have a quick look at the hut. Here's the interior. Little A-frame with swab mattresses and my untidy gear. I'm not tidying up because I'm going to leave here tonight, and after tea and go down to the bigger hut where the sandflies are not quite so bad. And there's a bit of my tea cooking just now. So there you are. It's living in the What-Wats temporarily. Now this is a map showing where I went on the Monday. In red you can see I got near the top. This is a map of the place that I went. The red dotted bit is where I got to on the Monday, and the black line is the successful route that I followed on the Wednesday.